This engine is at full operating temperature. I just now shut it off. We're gonna try to get this oxygen sensor off, and I've got an identical car. As soon as I'm done with this one, we're gonna try one that's stone cold. It's like 30 degrees outside, and we're gonna see if that one comes out any easier. But what a lot of people overlook on something like this is we're gonna use a breaker bar. A lot of times these oxygen sensors can get stuck, and instead of using a ratchet where you gotta flip the switch back and forth, we can put our oxygen sensor socket on here, and then we can just go back and forth without flipping the switch. And a lot of times that breaks things free a lot easier, but we'll find out. Also, I'm using the 1/2-inch drive one, and if you're using 3/8 drive, you're gonna have a lot more flex. It's gonna be a lot more difficult to get the thing loose. 1/2-inch drive typically delivers the torque value straight down to the fastener a lot more easy and simple than having the flex of a 3/8 drive extension. I've also been known to put an impact on these whenever they're really stuck, but I try not to, especially if you're trying to just remove the sensor and then insert the same one. You could potentially mess up the heater circuit or damage it if you're using an impact to get the old one out when you're trying to reuse it. But this is just your universal O2 socket sensor. This is a good one. This is a Matco one. It's not one of those flimsy ones that's gonna open up and spread. I showed that in one of my short videos. So we're gonna slide it on here. Very hot catalytic converter here. This is the primary sensor. Let's see if this fits with the air box still installed. Might not. There we go. Gotta be careful. If we're keeping the air box here, we gotta be careful. For instance, we don't want to hit this mass airflow sensor or damage this connector. But so I'm just going to, oh yeah, that's really on there. So let's take it off and let's try a different angle. Different angle there. So right here, my bar isn't really, my extension isn't really long enough to give me a good angle. I want to be at a complete 90. So over here I could try a complete 90. I want to hold this side right here and then try to bust it loose with my other hand. So at operating temperature, this is how I'm going to get this thing loose. I'm just going to grab the head of this breaker bar and give it a nice swift kick. Oh yeah, it came loose like butter. But they don't always come loose like that. And you see, if it was stiff, or if I was only able to get just a little bit on it, then I could go back the other way and keep on going back and forth. And then I could spray some lube on it while I'm doing that. But we're gonna tighten that one back up, and now we're gonna try one on a stone cold 30-degree temperature engine and see if that comes off the same way, or maybe it's a little bit more difficult. Or maybe the key is just use a big beefy 1/2-inch drive breaker bar. Now this one's been sitting for a while. You can maybe see there's cobwebs growing. Now we'll put this on the same exact way. Let's see if it's the least bit more stubborn. You give it a nice swift kick. Oh yeah, it came off like butter. Well, that was a insignificant test. Let's see if I can reach the back sensor so I can make the video a little bit more interesting. Back sensor is a little bit more difficult to get to. Back sensor. Slide this thing on here. And now we can't use an extension. But can we get the breaker bar in there? That's the question. So we get the breaker bar and we try to fit it. So right there, we have a little bit of room, but I would like to get it one more notch up if I can. I had to get it fit with both hands, but as you can see, it's all the way fit, and I got enough room to swing it. Let's give it a try. Busted loose very easily. See that? All you need to do is bust it loose, and then you can typically spin it out. See that? And go back in with it. So, as far as I can tell, on this particular car, they came out just as easy, hot or cold. Tell me your experience in the comments.